All right, so how many of us have actually thought about what it would be like to have like really bad internet, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like old school dial-up
Oh, yeah.
modem style
Yeah.
where you could actually,
Hear it.
hear the sounds of trying to
Yeah.
connect
The screeching.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Most of us take for granted,
Yeah,
our internet speeds now,
for sure.
and how much we rely on it. But imagine you're in the middle of the ocean, maybe you're on some sort of research vessel, and you have a ton of data
Yeah.
that you need to send
Yeah.
back to,
To the mainland.
to headquarters, yeah.
Right.
Or maybe you just want to, watch a
Check in with the
Not
family.
be yourself.
See how things are going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all you've got is that, like, spinning wheel of death.
Right.
So that's the problem that Starlink Maritime
Right.
is really trying to
solve.
tackle, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really shaking up the world of marine satellite internet.
Absolutely. It's a game changer.
We've actually got some information from Marine Data Solutions,
Okay.
and they've installed Starlink Maritime on over 200 vessels. So
Oh.
clearly they're,
The experts.
some experts in this. But before we actually jump into like the specifics of Starlink and what they're doing, I kind of want to take a step back
Sure.
and think about like why this is even an
Yeah.
issue. I mean,
Okay.
satellite internet
Yeah.
for boats has been around for a while.
Has.
So why is Starlink such a big deal?
Yeah, well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's been around, but it hasn't necessarily been great. Traditional satellite internet for boats relies on VSA. That stands for a very small aperture terminal.
Okay.
And those satellites are way out in geostationary orbit. So we're talking thousands of miles away.
Okay.
And that distance creates lag, what we call latency.
Right.
Imagine sending a text and waiting minutes or even hours
Like
for
that.
a reply. So it's been pretty frustrating for people at sea
Right.
trying to get a reliable connection.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, bandwidth was limited. So you had slow speeds and the costs were just sky high.
Makes sense. So it sounds like Starlink basically comes in with a totally different approach.
Yeah.
They still use a constellation of satellites,
Hmm.
but they're a lot closer, right?
They are much, much closer. They're in what's called low Earth orbit, or LEO.
Okay.
So instead of being thousands of miles away, these satellites are whizzing around hundreds of miles above us,
Got it.
which makes a huge difference in terms of that lag time.
Okay.
We're talking speeds up to 220 plus
Wow.
megabits per second download speed, which that's faster than a lot of home internet connections on land.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, 220, that's not just like checking your email. That's
Yeah.
like streaming
Yeah.
movies and
Hundreds of
having,
calls, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything you can do on land, you can now do at sea.
so it almost makes it like feel like you're not
Exactly.
even
That's
out on the ocean, really.
to bridge that gap.
That's pretty amazing. But I'm kind of curious, like, how does that even work, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you've got a boat
Right.
that's rocking back and forth.
Right.
How do you maintain a stable connection?
Well, Starlink has designed this really special, flat, high-performance antenna. It can withstand, like, the roughest seas. I mean, you can picture, like, huge waves crashing, gale force winds.
Right.
But this thing stays locked on to those LEO satellites.
Okay.
So it ensures a stable connection even in the most challenging conditions. I mean, think of it like a super-powered satellite dish
Right.
that can handle anything the ocean throws at it.
So it's like made for that
Exactly.
specific purpose.
Purpose-built.
Okay, very cool. So it's obviously not just about speed, right?
No, it's not.
I mean, what kind of impact is this having on, like, how things are actually done at sea?
Well, I mean, the possibilities are really endless when you think about it.
Yeah.
Imagine a research vessel
Yeah.
out in the middle of the ocean. They're collecting all this data on, ocean currents, temperatures, marine life.
Right.
They can now analyze that data in real time,
Wow.
which means faster discoveries,
Okay.
more efficient research, or think about a cargo ship. They can optimize their route based on up-to-the-minute weather reports,
Right.
saving fuel and time. It's also really revolutionizing crew communication. I mean, forget crackly radio calls. Now you can have clear video chats with your family back home.
Yeah. I mean, it's bringing a lot of those comforts from land
Absolutely.
out to the ocean.
It's a game changer for crew morale as well.
Right. Right. So it makes a lot of sense. But what about reliability?
Yeah.
Like, is there any risk of losing connection if a satellite goes down?
That's a great question. And that's where Marine Data Solutions really comes in. They have this system called the MDS Blender,
Okay.
and it's kind of like having a backup generator, for your internet.
Okay.
It intelligently combines Starlink with other available internet sources. So if you're near shore, it might tap into LTE or 5G.
Right.
Or if you're docked, it'll connect to the dockside Wi-Fi.
So it's
It's
constantly
limitless.
looking for the best connection
Yeah.
at any given time.
If one source has an issue, it'll just seamlessly switch over to another one, making sure that you always have a constant connection.
Okay.
Especially for like mission-critical maritime operations, that's essential.
Yeah, that's a really clever solution, I think.
It is.
All right, so let's be practical for a second.
Sure.
How much does all of this cost?
Well, Starlink Maritime starts at $250 a month,
Okay.
which, compared to your home internet might sound a little steep. But you have to keep in mind the old VSA systems could cost thousands of dollars a month. So in comparison to that, it's actually quite competitive,
Yeah, especially given
especially with the speed
all the benefits
and reliability you're getting.
you get, yeah. So it's all relative, I guess, right?
It is.
And it sounds like Marine Data Solutions, they kind of tailor like solutions to specific needs.
They work with each client individually to kind of assess their needs, their budget, and they'll come up with a custom package.
Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, their track record with over 200 installations definitely suggests they know.
They do.
Yeah, they're definitely a leader in the field.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, I'm personally pretty excited about
Yeah.
what this means for the future,
Me too.
I mean, from research vessels to cruise ships, the possibilities seem
Limitless.
endless.
It's really going to change the way we think about connectivity at sea.
Right. It's almost like the ocean is becoming an extension of land.
In a way.
Yeah, you're right.
In a way.
It's making the ocean more accessible to more people.
Exactly.
Which is exciting. But, it's also important to keep in mind there are potential downsides to this kind of technology as well.
Sure.
Like any powerful tool, there's the potential for misuse.
Right.
We have to be careful about things like cybersecurity, data privacy,
Right.
and of course the environmental impact of launching more and more satellites.
So it's really about using this technology responsibly.
Exactly. It's about, weighing the benefits and the risks.
Okay. Well, I think this leaves our listeners with a pretty interesting question.
It does.
What would you do with super fast, reliable internet in the middle of the ocean?
Yeah, what would you do?
Let us know.
We'd love to hear your ideas.
Thanks for listening,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you all next time.
T.S.